All right, good morning, guys. Today is May 24th, and as usual, we'll be going over analysis for US 30, gold, and EU. So let me first start off with thanking you guys for the patience, because I know we didn't have a live session yesterday. Uh, Also, what is that? We didn't have a live session yesterday because the past few days I've been working with my programmers to automate my chart markups. So I'll go over them today because they're fairly new. And I know we normally don't trade the first 10 or so minutes during the live session. So I'll take a quick 10 minutes to go over this. So the way I'll just show it on US 30, and it's the same way you can use it on gold and EU or any other time frame. So I did share it with everybody who has access to my indicators, or anybody who subscribed this month for their promo for access to everything. So you should see two new indicators in your invite only indicators. The first one is GA Trading Club markups. The second one is GA Trading Club zones. So the markups, ideally, so you remember previously I used to have Monday high, Monday low, Friday high, Friday low, previous daily high, previous daily low, weekly high, weekly low, weekly open, previous weekly open, PW high, PW low, previous monthly high, previous monthly low. Now, so I had all of that automated. So if you open that, what is it called? That indicator, you'll see there's two sections. So the first section is the order block high lows. So that's like what I normally use, the 15-minute bearish high, like the bearish and bullish highs and lows. And you can adjust it. You can check. So there's two indicators in this case built into one, right? So let's say somebody is not interested in seeing the bearish highs and lows. So you can see on my chart right here, you can see the bearish highs and lows. So if I uncheck that box, the bearish highs and lows should disappear. There you go. So the bearish highs and lows disappeared. All you're left with is now the highs and lows that are down here, right? And also in the bearish highs and lows, you can select which bearish high and low use. I don't use the 5-minute bearish highs and lows, but if you're interested in them, you can select them. But for me, I'm only interested the 15-minute, 30, 1 hour, 4 hour, daily, weekly, and monthly. Now, if you've noticed, by default, when this indicator loads, you will have this value. So these values that are next to each bearish high and low, they ideally show the positioning on the chart. So by default, I think all of them are 0. So if you change all of them to 0, you will have overlap. So let me see if I reset the defaults. But for me, what I did after I made these adjustments, what is it called? I saved as defaults down here, but let me see what happens if I reset the settings. So if I reset the settings, you'll see that if I go into the chart, you have some of these zones overlapping, right? So some, like here, you can't really tell what's here. You can see maybe there's an hourly something, hourly bearish, and maybe Friday low. Previously, because I was doing this manually, I could manually move the lines, but by default, right, you'll see this overlap. So that's why you have to come in here and play around. Like for me, I'm not interested in this. You can select what color you want to use here. For me, just that's what I use. And then here, right, think of this as spacing them out. So you want distinct values in between each in order to make sure that they're spaced out evenly so that you can see them well. So for example, like on Tuesday, you'll have like Monday high and previous daily high on the same line, but you would want to space those out. So for example, here, I just try to space out, maybe by a difference of 20 or so. So maybe do 25 here. So, this is just a bunch of back testing, but I already saved mine. So for me, oh God, that's like, oh, I thought you could save a template. Okay. So let me redo this. So for me, this is just what I'm comfortable with for right now. So, it doesn't mean this is what you need to have, but I'm just showing you guys how to adjust them. So I think if I remember correctly here, I had this maybe I had this and then plus 15 or 20. So maybe 45 here. So I think I was going by increment of 20s. And I think that was it. So if we do that, you'll see the spacing change for the bullish and bearish, right? So you can see how they moved aside. Now, so that's right. That's the purpose. You can check whatever you want to check, and then what is it? You can check whatever you want to check, and then uncheck what you're not interested in. And then same thing with the highs and lows, right? So this is previous daily high and low. This is weekly high and low and weekly open as well. And then you have previous weekly open, previous weekly high and low, monthly open, monthly high and low, previous monthly open, previous monthly high and low, Monday high and Monday low, Friday high and Friday low. So let me see if I reset. I thought I'd saved as defaults. I think I overwrote them. Anyway, yeah, so that's ideally, it's just basic, right? So you just need to understand, check what you want to use, and then uncheck what you're not interested in. And ideally, that's it. Does anybody have any questions? And then you
Not
can,
about the chart, but it looks like there's a death cross forming on gold.
okay. Yeah,
here.
right now I just want to focus on this first. It's fine. I'm already in a sell from gold, like at the very top. So, and based off of this indicator, so I just want to first focus on this in the meantime. And then here, so same thing with this highs and lows, right? So you want to space them out. So these values on the side are ideally to be spaced out. So you want to space out values that might overlap. So for example, previous daily high and low might overlap with like a Monday high or Monday low, or Friday high and Friday low. Because for example, as I said on Tuesday, PD high and PD low will overlap with Monday high and Monday low. So you want some distinction or some spacing between those three. So that's how you would play around with those. Save as default, because that's what I for me, these are just my preferences, but you can change them to match what you want. So the default should be sufficient. So that's the first one. Now the zones one is the way you plot the supply and demand zones as I would mark them up. So same thing, right? It's pretty basic. You have bullish order blocks or bullish and bearish zones where sellers or buyers are. And then of course you have the color coding. Now here where it comes to overlapping, you want to play around with values that are -2 to +2, other than the zone 4. So zone 4, the least you can do is 0.1. So anything less than 0 on these three, the first three zones, will bring the supply and demand zones closer together. Now, anything above 0 will take supply and demand zones further apart. Now, ideally, if you leave everything at 0, that's the default. And if I do this, you'll see on the chart, these zones will change. There you go. So you can see how the zones are changing. So you want to play around. So zero is definitely the default. For me, I'm using -2 because I want these zones to be closer together and overlapping with each other. So that's how I'm able to, the logic behind this, right? So you guys remember I used to have supply zones, and then I used to talk about supply zones within supply zones, right? So that's the logic where you ideally want, it might have a little bit more markups, but they'll be closer together. But if you want less supply and demand zones that are far from each other, you want to do either the default, which is 0, or anything greater than 0. The other way to find, to use this tool to mark the zones manually. So right now, for US 30, I don't know if I took that off. I had, give me 1 second. Load chart, US 30. Uh-huh. 1 second. Load layout. and link, because I think in this one I had saved. Okay, perfect. Yeah, this is what I'm looking for. So this is the one I'd saved before. So in this one other way to be accurate with this supply and demand zones, you can start on the monthly. So this is what I used to do daily. So I used to start on the monthly. So I have all of them right now. I think they are at, that's fine. So if you start at 0, you can start on the monthly, and then what you're looking for, because I really don't like how they're showing up on the 5-minute time frame. Remember, I could have only done so much to perfect this strategy. So you can start on the monthly time frame and start marking up. You see like this zones right here. So for me, this here would be a demand zone within a demand zone. So you would look for areas that price is overlapping at. So if you want to backtest and see what setting, whether it's -2, whether it's -1 that works for you, start on this on the monthly time frame and go down to the 15-minute or 5 and look for these zones and mark them up. Now, once you do that, like you can see right now, if I hide them, there's some zone, because I've done this manually in the morning just to show you guys. So if I go on the 5-minute time frame right here, and I reset the chart, and I hide the markups that are done. So you can see the markups that are done are disappearing. So any value that I'm changing here, because this zones, the ones that I'm hiding, I drew them manually. So any overlaps that I'm changing here, I want the overlaps to bring me as close to what I manually marked up here. Right. So you can see with the manual markup, this zone is still a relevant zone down here. There's some manual markups down here, manual markups up here. So you can manually mark up a chart you're interested in first if you want to backtest whether -1 works for you or +1 works for you. So start from the monthly, find those areas where all these zones overlap and manually box them in, and then come in, go into your settings. You can do a change for each one of them, ideally to get you close enough to what you had manually marked up. So for me, I realized -2 ideally works with what I have or what I need to have. So that's the basics behind that. What else? Yeah, overlap. Yeah. So if I go, let me go back to this one. So I'm not really interested in having these zones on my chart right now. I can tell because I already have -2. So I will only be interested in looking at them when I'm entering a trade. But for right now, I really do not need them. I can even hide the ones I drew so that the chart can have a little less clutter. Now, gold, I did enter a sell on gold right here before market open. And this was the sell that I entered around here. And again, so right now, again, I'm not looking to enter any trade. I'm ideally looking to educate you guys on this for right now. So this sell on gold, another thing, right, how I love this indicator was built. Remember, we always talked about how this bearish and bullish zones were always rejecting to the pip. So you can see up here, let me turn off that zones for now. So you can see up here, price rejected from a 4-hour bearish high, also a 15-minute bearish high. So this is also the importance of changing the spacing behind down here. This, adjusting these numbers to the right of the bearish and the high lows, or the bullish and bearish zones, or the high lows. Because right here, if you didn't adjust the number between 15-minute bearish and 4-hour bearish high, they would all be together and overlapping. So you can see here, when I saw this, I saw price rejected from a 4-hour bearish high, 15-minute bearish high, exactly to the pip. So same thing, when we're trading these zones manually, we used to mark them up, divide the zone into 2. So for example, I could have divided this and, marked this as a bearish zone. But for right now, we really don't have to keep doing that because we have the zones markup right here. So when I also turned this indicator on, I saw price was at a, supply. There was nothing but sellers all the way in here. And you can see in here, right, automatically, you can see there was a supply zone within a supply zone here and another supply zone within a supply zone down here and somewhere around here, right? Because you're looking for the areas that overlap. So when I saw that, for me, I can automatically see them. So it's easy for me to mark them up. So when I saw that, I waited. I didn't get filled in here. I saw the Friday high here, price closed below the Friday high. And then I waited for the 4-hour bearish low. The 4-hour bearish low is what was going to give me confirmation. I wanted to see a perfect retest of the 4-hour bearish low and rejection. So when price got here to the 4-hour bearish low, I waited for this candle to close below. So that's my confirmation. The next candle to retest and close below. So at that point, I entered my gold sell right here on this candle. Went into a little bit of drawdown, just like what, half a pip or something. And for this one, I'm actually trying to ride it for 100 pips. So you can see, oh, wait, I think it did hit TP for me. Give me 1 second. Oh, it just missed me by a little bit, but I will secure this. And this brings me up like what, 0.5 or close to 0.75 for the day. So I'll just close the whole position right now. Give me 1 second. Yeah, so I just closed my gold trade right now. But yeah, so this zones, I told you guys, I don't see any reason why nobody should have any issues, because if you're not interested in using the zones, just turn that off and turn it on when you're entering a position to see, okay, if I'm looking for a buy. So for example, here I was looking for a sell. What I wanted to see, I wanted to see these supply zones within supply zones in here. I wanted to see heavy sellers. I can see another supply zone within a supply zone up here around 1992, 1991. So how I am using any all these indicators is as a confluence. Also, I know some of you were fans of like what, the premium and discount zones that were mostly available like in the SMC indicator. So I also built in the premium and discount zones into the into this the zones indicator as well. So if you turn on the zones indicator, you'll see sometimes you have zones that tell you premium and discount depending on the chart you're using. So yeah, I know some of you are fans of that, so I had to include that. So the last thing I want to talk about on this before we start looking about trades is, okay, perfect. So in the zones part, you might get a study error because this indicator includes like thousands and thousands of lines of code. So like right here, if I change, I think it's this to either zone 2 or zone 1, you can't go beyond 1, beyond the value of 1. So I know I said you can go between -2 and +2, but if you went to 1 here and went to 1 here, you realize that you'll probably get a study error right here. Let's see. Okay, so you didn't get a study error. Give me 1 second. Let's try this to 1. All 3 for 1. I know I'd gotten a study error at some point. Okay, let's see if it goes to 2, because it also goes depending on bars. But if at any point you get a study error while playing around with any of these values, okay, so right now, because it goes like the last 1500 or 2000 bars. So if at any point while using the zones indicator, you get a study error, just reduce the overlap percentage that you want. So right now you can see how when everything is 2, you barely have any supply and demand zones, right? So the reason for that is because they've gone so far apart that you can't even see them because there's no overlap between all 3. So that's why I'm saying the sweet spot is maybe 0 to -2. So for me, I've found that -2 works for me. You know, that's not the holy grail. It's just what works based off of how I built this. But since this was delivered yesterday, I still need to do a bunch of back testing. But I did back testing this morning for like 3 hours. So I just found that the negative part works.
So I have a question about
Uh-huh.
the indicator. The shaded area is either like where it's shaded in red, that's a
Uh-huh.
supply or demand area.
It depends on how you change the colors right here, right? So
Okay.
yeah. So ideally for me, supply zones are red or bearish zones.
So
And
if there's a supply zone, then if it's reaching a supply zone, then you want to sell.
No,
theoretically, or you
no,
want
you
to
want to
buy?
use you want to use this as a confluence, right? So the same thing I said on gold. So for this gold trade, what did I do? So for me, I mentioned this supply and demand zones, and they're also based off of where order blocks are overlapping. So that's why you have an overlap. So for me, how I use them to tell me there's, so for me right here for this trade that I gave an example of, I saw a rejection of price. So for me, I'll always have, at the very least, I'm not going to be having the supply and demand zones by default on my chart. You know, they're just too much color, and I'm trying to get my charts less cluttered. But for me, on this gold trade, I saw gold rejecting from a 4-hour bearish high. So I waited for the 4-hour bearish low. 4-hour bearish high is ideally a huge time frame. So what I was interested in, okay, where are the sellers seated around this zone that gold is rejecting from? So just by even not, I know I just, you know, we just did that review, but how I did it this morning, I didn't even have the zones turned on. So what I was expecting to see supply zone within a supply zone here, just for confirmation, because if I'm looking to sell gold here, I want to see sellers here, and I want to see supply zones within supply zones. So when I turned on my zones indicator, right, even you can look for the zones, and I've used like a lighter shade of red just so that it's easy on my eye. But for example, this is a supply zone within a supply zone because it's a darker shade of red. This is another supply zone within a supply zone. This is another supply zone within. You might want to use maybe a more visible shade of red in order to see some of these zones. But right there, and then right here, you can see a darker shade of red here. Okay, if I turn this off, if I turn that indicator off, because I just used it to show me where the sellers are. But overall, right, overall, this is a supply zone. Like this whole area is a supply zone, but I'm not interested in a huge supply zone. I want to be like, okay, inside that supply zone, where is price, where are more sellers? In this case, it would be where are this institution or banks having their orders. So that's what's highlighted with the darker shades. So at that point, I came in here, I turned this off, I turned the zones off. So what this tells me is that this is where more sellers are, this is where more sellers are, and this is where more sellers are, and then this is here, and here is where more sellers are. So when I saw this rejection off of the 4-hour bearish high, I waited to see how price is going to react in this supply zone within a supply zone. Again, I'm not using it. If you want, you can use it to hop in on a buy or sell. But for me, I never use supply and demand zones to buy or to sell on impulse. I just use them as a confluence. So at this point, it told me, hey, there are sellers here. I said, okay, perfect. Let me wait for my confluence, my first confluence. We have a 4-hour bearish low right here. So what I needed is for price to close below the 4-hour bearish low, retest and close below. So this candle right here closed below the 4-hour bearish high, and it retested it. Not to the pip, but right, it just missed it by like 0.1 of a pip, and then closed below. So at that point, I entered a sell, knowing that my sell, the probability of this trade to hit was like 90%, because I knew that above here, what do I have? I have a 4-hour bearish low. I have a Monday high, Friday high. I have a 4-hour bearish high. I have a 15-minute bearish high, 30-minute bearish high, 30-minute bearish low. And I have these two zones where heavy sellers are. So at that point, I did not have any bullish zone. I did not have any buyers anywhere there. So for me, that was a confluence. I entered the sell on gold and it went straight to TP. So for me, I used the zones to tell me, okay, if I get an entry for a buy, I want to see, are there any buyers seated in that area? That is, like for me, this gold trade, this was a perfect trade for me, because there was no bullish zone up there. There was no demand zone up there. So hopefully that makes sense how you should use the zones.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Yeah, so for me, I'm not going to be leaving the zones on in the chart unless we have already identified a buy or a sell. The other way you can use these zones is before heavy news. Before heavy news, analyze like NFP or FOMC. Come in here and mark up your zones and see, okay, where, like here, I can tell there's a lot of buyers here. I can tell there's a lot of buyers here. I can tell there's a lot of buyers here. As much as there's buyers down here, buyers are concentrated around 1958. So right now, if you ask me, where do I see gold going? I can see some, and also you want to avoid this little zones right here, right? So zones that are this thin. So this is like a thin, as much as it's a demand zone or a demand zone within a demand zone, right? It's pretty thin. It's only like 0.1 of a pip. So you want ideally wider zone. So gold can easily break through that. So what you'd be looking for, right? You see like this one right here. This is a wider zone. So this is a potential buy zone if gold comes back up. So you want to look for those wider zones if you're, so for me, if I was trading news, I would ignore this one and this one and this one, and then I would box this in. This zone is a bit bigger. And ideally for this one, I would just combine these two because they are two within one. And then I would box this in. And this one, right, coincides with the previous daily low and Friday low. So if you're trading before heavy news, look for the previous high-low markups like a previous daily high and whatnot, and then box the zones that are in there, and you should be good. Okay, so let's see if we can find any trades for today. So of course, this gold trade, I took it before the live session. It was a no-brainer for me. But this will not count towards today's returns. But you can see the logic why I entered that trade. If you have any other questions regarding the indicators, I would say those two indicators, I would say watch the first 30 minutes of today's live session because this will be recorded. In case you guys need further clarification. Okay, so does anybody have any question regarding any potential trades?
I have one other question about that. It's not in depth or anything. Just as far as like the order blocks and the supply zones and all that. When do you go over? I mean, I'm guessing you, because I'm kind of late to the party. So when did you go over that stuff? Like do I need to go back and look earlier in the videos, the recordings, or?
What do you mean by the order blocks? Like how to draw them, or?
Well, yeah. Like, because I'm pretty sure at some point you went over that stuff, like basically from scratch. So that I think that would help me give me a better understanding, like more in depth on how. Are those like in the earlier videos or?
Yes, in the earlier videos, but just to break it down, and again, of course, order blocks are relative on how people draw them. But for me, how I draw an order blocks, so how I used to draw it before I got this automated system. So let me just leave this on the 5 minute. Let me use the hourly for now. So you can see on the right how I drew or how I draw order blocks and how majority of the logic of this zones is built in. I used to start from the monthly time frame and down to the 15-minute time frame. And then I used to find a trend. So for example, here, if price is in a downtrend, I would look for the last bullish candle before the downtrend continued. So I can see, so this is the hourly time frame. So if this was an hourly time frame for me, I can see this horizontal ray. So this is definitely a downtrend. Now, this, I know I've changed the color of my candles, but this is the last green candle right here. So for me, this would be what is this? This would be an hourly bearish high. And then this would be an hourly bearish low. Now, it might not be how other people draw order blocks, but that's how I draw order blocks. Now, if price is in an uptrend, I would look for the last bearish candle before the uptrend continued. The other nifty little trick in here, now for me, I use the highs and lows of the candles to mark these ones that you guys are seeing in here. However, how I came up with the supply and demand zones, sometimes I considered also the body of candles, especially if you had consolidation. But another nifty little trick in here, you can see that you can you can change whether to use the wick of a candle to calculate this order blocks or this supply and demand zones or the close of a candle. So if you want, you can play around by using wick or close in there. For me, I just use whatever the program has left as default. But yeah, but if you want to draw them manually, this is, so for me, I used to do this daily, beginning the monthly time frame down to the 15-minute time frame. Now the monthly down to the daily, I only had to do it like once a month. But these others that are 15-minute, 30-minute, and 1 hour, especially if price action has moved a lot since yesterday, those are mainly the ones that I used to change. But the monthly, weekly, and you want to do the monthly one maybe mid of a month, the weekly one mid of a week, and those ones you won't need to change that often. But that's how I normally draw the order blocks, and that's how the program is automated to draw them. So hopefully that answers the question. So just that's just the basics, in case I can save you time to go back and see or try to find what video. Yeah. Okay, so for this instance, so let me just turn off the zone. So I'm not interested in that. And also I'm not interested in those that I drew manually. So right now I'll just leave the bullish and bearish highs and lows, and then the other daily and whatnot. So right now, what do we have for US 30? Give me 1 second. Let me delete all of this because remove 49 drawings in that. So we need to see where US 30 is headed. So right now US 30 is bearish. How I can tell that? Price is both below the 9 EMA and the 200 EMA. And we, of course, always draw our trend lines right there. And we draw our other trend line right there. We have this trend line on the hourly, right? So what do you see on the hourly? This trend line has been broken by this candle. Actually, US 30 is still a sell for now. So this was perfect for, we missed that sell on the hourly. Now, if this candle, so right, what do we know about static candles? Once they're broken, trend lines, once they're broken, price almost always retest them. So this actually was a quick sell on US 30 right here. But it's fine if you didn't already catch it, because keep in mind, I've gone over this strategy time and time again. So once a static, so this already broke and closed below the static trend line. So if you already missed the retest of the trend line, what you would do is wait for this hourly candle to close in the next 1 hour, because I wouldn't enter a sell right now, because this candle can easily come back and close above the trend line and price continues to the upside. So for any other sells on US 30 for now, I would wait for this hourly candle to close, and then I would look for an entry at that point. So this is the monthly low and the weekly low. So for example, you can see here how the monthly low and weekly low are overlapped. If I want to fix that overlap, I would come in here and find those two, the monthly and weekly, and then maybe possibly move the monthly a little bit far up, and you'll see how the monthly will probably be able to distinguish the two. And there you go. So you can see how these two separated. So now, they're not overlapping and I can tell which is what. So right now on US 30, to be honest, I don't see anything. I know price is bearish, but I do not see any trade for US 30. US 30 is bearish, gold is bearish, EU is bearish. So yeah, the only entry I see for US 30 is the closure of this hourly candle. I would not advise you to enter a sell if we get a retest of the static trend line on the hourly. Gold, we have a death cross on gold. I already made profit with gold this morning from selling the high. And I know there's somebody who asked about the bearish, the gold, the death cross. So if you're trading the death cross, right? I don't know if you entered, but that was an entry for the death cross, right? So
yeah,
if you're,
that was me.
Yeah. If you're trading it, yeah. So depending if you are going for 100 pips TP, 100 pips stop loss. Now, keep in mind, right? For me, honestly, and my last process or system to create is a indicator for golden crosses and death crosses as I enter them. That will be, and I did say that will be the last indicator I'll create because I need to consolidate all these strategies. But this was a valid death cross, right? Now, the only red flag up here was this 30-minute and 15-minute bullish highs and lows. But what else do you see? Automatically, I can tell there is hourly bearish high, hourly bearish low here. So for me, that automatically overrides the 30-minute and the 15-minute zones right here. So for me, yes, wait. This is a death cross that I could have taken, but I already made money with gold. So at that point, right, I would have just kept riding to TP. So don't be worried. Remember, high time frames will always override based on my strategies. High time frames will always override or supersede lower time frames. So as much as you have 30-minute and 15-minute bullish zones, you have an hourly bearish high, hourly bearish low. So price is within a sell area. You have a death cross on the 5-minute. Also, guess what? Here on the hourly, you had this candle that was closing below. I think it had already closed, right? Closing below a static trend line. So at that point, and this is on the hourly, so you have so many confluences for a sell. I haven't even looked at if we had sellers at this zone. So let's go ahead and turn on the zones. So this was the last area where we had sellers. Here you can see a supply zone within a supply zone here. So if I turn that off, right? So, you know, this is a position you could have been comfortable entering and gone for either 50 pips or 100 pips. Yeah. So always ask yourself, what confluences do I have around me? And at that point, if something does not line up, so for example, here, if we had an hourly bearish high, hourly bearish low, and then we had a daily bearish, a daily bullish here or a weekly bullish low here, I would have said, hey, you know, be careful about that. But in this case, right, look, I always say, look at what's around you. If I was looking here, I would not even be interested in the 30-minute and 15-minute bullish zones. Hourly supersedes that. So, and then I see the hourly time frame. The hourly broke below a static trend line. So that's telling me we are going down. We have a death cross. So at that point, enter the trade and go ahead and ride that. The reason I'm saying not to question too much whether a trade is valid or not is we will have, like this week, the market has been perfect, has been so amazing, but we will have those days in the market where you'll have this hourly bearish low here, and then you'll have a weekly bullish low here, and then you have a death cross. So at that point, you're like, okay, what should I take? And maybe that's the day you take the death cross, and then they use the weekly bullish low to pump price all the way up. So take advantage of this periods in the market where everything is lining up for a buy or for a sell. That's what I'll say. Yeah, so gold, I really don't see anything. I already made money with gold, so I'm not interested in anything else for gold. Now, gold also is a sell if this current hourly candle closes below. So we might get a retest. So keep in mind, the static trend line on the hourly has not been retested just yet. So we might either get a retest of an let me turn on those zones. So you can see we have buyers here. So price is rejecting from this demand zone within a demand zone. So they might bring price up right here. So if you look at this tool, what they can do, they can bring price up here on the hourly, retest the 9 EMA, and then have the candle closing below this trend line. And at that point, they bring gold further down. So that's what I do see them doing, because for me, I know when a static trend line is broken, we normally almost always get a retest of it. So for me right now, I really don't see any entry for gold. I already made money with it, so I'm not going to question it too much. So here, what do we have? We have a death cross on EU on the 5-minute. We had a golden cross not too long ago, 1405. About 2 hours ago. So, you know, I don't like seeing golden crosses and death crosses that close to each other, but right, that's just one minor red flag. So I also look at what else is around me. Hourly bullish low, hourly bullish high. We are in supply zones. Up there, we do have this 15-minute bearish high. And then right here, if I look on the hourly, we are stuck in this two static trend lines. So for me, now if you ask me, this is not a death cross that I would take on EU, because we have an hourly bullish high and low. We have the prices around demand zones, and also price right here at the bottom is around demand zones. So you can see the difference why this golden cross, this death cross on gold was more valid than this death cross currently on EU. So EU can still keep pushing down, but if it keeps pushing down, I'm not going to feel bad that I missed to trade the death cross. But for me, this death cross right here is a major red flag on EU. And you can see prices rejecting from an hourly bullish low. and also we're in a bullish. So in any case, I'll be looking for sales on EU. I'm sorry, for buys on EU. But the confirmation that I'll wait for, I would rather wait for price right here on the hourly time frame to close above this static trend line, retest the static trend line, and close above. At that point, I would be looking to buy EU, because remember, you want to wait for confirmations. Yeah, so for right now, I really don't see any entry for anything until this hourly candles close, and by the time they're closing, we'll be done with the live session. So does anybody have, so today you guys can ask questions, any clarifications you guys need. Also yesterday, so let's see if we can have anything using the breakout scanner. So keep in mind, starting next month, I'm not going to be showing this on the live session. Again, I want to be fair for the people who have access to it. I'll only be showing it on the months that I run promos on. So this morning, there was a perfect breakout. As much as I missed it, I was awake at like 3 a.m. But then I went back and got trapped by watching TV and stuff. But there was a nice breakout buy on USD CAD. So on USD CAD, this buy right here, I felt so bad when I missed it, but I saw this trade. So this buy right here, by the time I saw it, the candle was coming back to the downside. And then I said, I'll go ahead and look in 15 minutes. But by the time I checked, price was somewhere around here. So remember, when trading the breakouts, you really want to catch the first, the candle close where you have the signal. So you really don't want to chase a buy, like if the buy showed up 30 minutes ago or 1 hour ago. So you might be catching the top. So right here, this was a perfect no drawdown trade. And this one, I said I normally go for double what I do. So I would have gone for 40 pips TP or 40 pips stop loss. But the key here is to have your stop loss below the point where if a candle does break, where would the next sell come in? So if a sell was to come in, it would be below this zone to the bottom, where if a candle closed below here, would get a sell signal. So in this case, right, you can play with a risk to reward. Instead of having a 1:1 like I like doing, here you could have, this could have easily been 1:2 risk to reward or something, right? So yeah, this breakout scanner, honestly, if you're going to focus on anything, on any item that I give you guys, focus on the breakout scanner. It gives you a ton of entries in any single day. But I did say, as usual, be wary of the signals, either signals or entries that come up between 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and maybe 9 or 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because you're more than likely going to be manipulated or faked out. But other than that, feel free to enter trades or signals that come up 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to about 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time the next day. Yeah, but this is a trade that I missed today, but it is what it is. There'll always be another trade. In any case, right now, I can start looking for a reversal on USD CAD, right? So if you've missed a trade, so for example, if you come in here and I know, like I was looking for this buy on USD CAD and I see this breakout to the upside, guess what? I'll just come in here and then I will come in here and change this for USD CAD and try and see if I can find a reversal. Now, for me, the price action is not good for a reversal because I really want to see a nice continuous trend to the upside. I really don't want to see this back and forth between trend lines, but it's something I can put on my watch list that, hey, look out for USD CAD reversal, and maybe I can look in like 4 hours or something. But yeah, so even right now for the reversals on the 15-minute, I'm sorry, the breakout on the 15-minute, we don't trade. I think this is a, what is it called? Exotic pair. So, but we have a gold sell on the 15-minute. So let's see, gold on the 15-minute. Okay, yeah, and you can see we already missed that sell, but yeah. So I've given you all these instruments that give you entries as I would take them, right? So if you had even the breakout scanner, right, you came in here and saw that gold was breaking out to the downside, right? You could have even gone with a heavier position. So I've tried as much as I can to give you guys or to create infrastructure for you guys that's 99 or 98% of everything that I know about trading. But it does take manual intervention on your guys' ends to, like, you know, to just wait for the perfect entries, to use proper risk management. And other than that, right, if a trade makes sense, go ahead and enter it. Don't question too much. At the very least, enter with the half. If you're going to go for a 0.5% risk, go for 0.25, 0.25, 0.25% risk. And guess what? Once you've had like 5 or 6 wins, then upgrade that and start using 0.5. And because until you conquer the fear of losing a trade, you're not going to become a profitable trader. That one I can guarantee you. So you literally have to jump in, you have to be in the game, and then observe how price moves, and then create a journal. You know, I'm proud of most of you guys here. You normally send me screenshots of your journals. You normally, I think, I don't know if Desire is in here. So Desire talked about, he has a trading journal, and then what he did, he used ChatGPT and then uploaded his journal and said, oh, could you help me figure out what's the most common mistake that I make? And ChatGPT broke down his journal and said, okay, based on what I've found, you make this mistake repeatedly. And, you know, Desire sent an amazing screenshot. So if we go on so we don't have any trades we can take for now. So I'm just trying to show you guys the importance of learning and practicing, right? So Desire sent this in here. He held on to these cells. And if you guys remember, like about a month ago, you know, Desire came during Feedback Fridays. Desire was on the live session and he talked about he's having issues holding on to winners, but he's holding on to losers. So I told Desire, hey, put a sticky note, like literally this is what I have. I have like sticky notes on my monitor that says stick to your strategy. I told Desire, hey, put a sticky note. And he was also, you know, having challenges with FOMO and jumping in. So I told him, put a sticky note on your monitor that says stick to your strategy. And anytime you feel like you're going to FOMO into a trade, look at that and picture it as a message from yourself 5 months ago or 2 months ago when you blew an account. And then that's your past self telling you, hey, let's not make the same mistake again. And look at Desire holding like 6 grand in profit, right? Even for me, honestly, I still struggle with this too, right? I'm not perfect, but this is amazing to see that just this little changes, psychological changes, can make, you know, can have great help. So always make a journal. If you're not journaling in trading, you're just winging it, right? You need to be serious. You need to start journaling. What works for you? Why did you lose a trade? Why did you win a trade? As much as I can give you all these systems that are automated, if you're not good, if you haven't worked on your trading psychology, you're not going to make it until you work on your trading psychology. All right, Cat JPY, let's see, Cat JPY just popped up as well. So for me, I wouldn't chase this sell on gold on the breakout because I already missed it. So there's nothing to chase here. Also, the other thing to look at when trading the breakout scanner is, so this plot right here is the 200 EMA. The yellow plot is the 9 EMA. So what can you see? You can see the 9 EMA is coming to cross the 200 EMA. What is that? That's a death cross. So on the 15-minute time frame, we have a possible, because even if we go right here, right, you can see a death cross on the 15-minute time frame. So also, while using the breakout scanner, look out for death crosses and golden crosses. More times than not, or, you know, a good amount of times, you'll find you're getting a buy when a golden cross is coming, and that should ideally push price in your direction. Sometimes you'll get a sell and a death cross is coming. So I wish we had seen this because I would have entered. So that's another nifty little trick that I've noticed. So look out for, and if you go into settings, you can change what you're seeing in here. So the blue line in the middle is what the breakout signal is based off of. The yellow plot is the 9 EMA. This blue plot right here is the, I forget what this is. I think it's a fast, I need to ask my programmer. I think this one is a fast moving 9 EMA, if I'm not wrong. And then this plot down here, which is right here, is the 200 EMA. So be on the lookout for golden crosses and death crosses too while trading the breakout scanner. So let's see what's going on with CAD JPY. Also, for me, the breakout scanner, I want to be trading pairs that are very liquid. So pairs that move, have volatilities, because you've noticed some of these other slower pairs, CAD JPY, NZD, CHF, they move so slow. So we have a possible sell on CAD JPY. So what I would like to see here is structure. So I'll zoom out. Okay, so this is looking promising for CAD JPY because you can see we have a structure right here that may need to be completed. So if I mark this up, path structure right here, we have this M pattern and then structure to be completed at around 99,700 area. So we are getting this cell like on the upper percentile of this structure. So this to me is actually a good sell for CAD JPY for a swing trade. So we have 15 minutes before that closes, but I will enter this, but I need to wait for the candle to close. Also, see, I would be going for some of this position based on how slow they move. Let's see how far a 40 pip stop loss would be. I mean, that's good enough, but I feel like I would have more confidence or in the trade if my stop loss was above these previous highs. 500, 500. Yeah, I really don't want to go above. And you can see, so this is the importance of waiting for a candle to close. So you can see the buy signal on the table shows up when the threshold of whatever value you put in here. So the buy in this case is being shown using this two threshold, the breakout EMA length and the test pips. So that's why you always want to wait for candle closures. But I'll look at, actually that's in 40 seconds. So let's see if we close with a sell signal in 40 seconds. If we do, I'll be looking to take CAD JPY. Only thing I would feel better if my stop loss was above here. It looks like I would have to do like a 80 pip TP and 80 pip stop loss. I don't want to hold a trade for that long. So the other thing you can do now that we have automated, so remember, we have automated markups, right? So look at what I can do here. I come to new layout. I come to new layout there. And then I have CAD JPY, right? Guess what I would do here is, actually, let me just use this. Change here, CAD JPY. So the best thing with this automated system I have, you'll get markups for any symbol you want to trade. So if we are looking to sell CAD JPY, look at CAD JPY. What do we have? We have a 4-hour bearish low, hourly bearish low, hourly bearish high up here. We have a 15. Okay, so this is perfect. So I don't think we got that sell signal on CAD J. Okay, so we have to wait another 15 minutes. But just by reviewing CAD JPY right here, we have this bearish zone. So this is another, now we do have a 4-hour bullish high that's down here. So that technically, no, we have a 4-hour bullish high, we have a 4-hour bearish low. So these two, in my opinion, they cross out. Then I need to look at any other zone we have around there. So we have an hourly bearish high, hourly bearish low. So because this 4-hour bearish and bullish zones ideally cancel out, what we are left with, the next higher time frame or the next major time frame around there is the hourly bearish high. So yes, this is still a sell that I would be looking to take. And you can see why I really want my stop loss to be above the previous highs, because you can see we have a 4-hour bearish high there. But anyway, we have to wait for another 15 minutes. If that sell signal remains, I will be taking a sell on CAD JPY. So all these instruments that I've given you guys, you can use them interchangeably, right? So if you're unsure, remember that we have like what? I think we have like at this point 5 indicators or so. So yeah, just use them accordingly. Yeah. Any questions from anyone? Still no trades for, I don't see us having any official trades for today. Price has already gone so heavily down. Yeah, what's up?
Yeah, so no, 6 months, like the beginning. And I get it. I'll just get it next month at the beginning, like subscription, because like what's it called? I think it's better then, because you said what was it? You said that's when the normal price will come in, right? will it be all 5? Did you say all 5?
Yeah. So
indicators?
yeah, so if you have, so I'll go for example here, and so right now the only subscription link you have is the promo, which is $50 for the remainder of this month and gives you access to everything. But so you guys will have subscription services, and
Yeah.
I'll delete the charts access because I've automated this, so you guys will had access to this. So how it will be the indicators. So you have indicators access, so charts access. So this two new indicators for the supply and demand zones and the bullish and high lows or whatever, I'm not going to combine them. As much as they're indicators, I'm not going to put them in the indicators. The reason for that, if I were to put them in the indicators, I would have to revise this price to the upside. Now, also, when I was formulating everything, charts access was by itself. So technically, all I did was automate the charts access thing. So for charts access, it will just strictly be those 2 indicators and any other indicator I ever develop for the chart markups. But I don't think, because I want to stick with what I started, I don't really want to change and say, okay, hey, I added this. So that's why I really don't want to combine this two. Okay, so the markups and the zones indicators will be the charts access. Indicators access will be the high, low, and trend indicator that we have, the reversal indicator, the breakout scanner, and the semaphore. I'm going to take off the semaphore because it isn't based off of any strategies we go over, and I don't think there's anybody who even uses it. So indicators access, you'll get the high, low plus trend, so which is what we use here to mark up the high lows and also to mark up a trend. And you can use that one as well to, if you want to create alerts or buy, or because it definitely has buy and sell entries as well. And then so there'll be that one, and then there'll be the breakout scanner will be included in the indicators, and the reversal will be included in the indicators. So that will be the difference. It looks like I don't have a package for indicators and charts access, so I'm going to create that one as well. It will ideally be the same thing as indicators plus signals access. But indicators, any of this subscriptions, you will get access. So for example, if in the next year or so, and you know me, I've come up with 2 indicators in the span of a week. So let's say in the next year or so, I've come up with 50 indicators or 10 indicators. You will, that's not going to change. I'm not going to say, okay, this package, you only get this first 3 indicators. And then no, you'll get access to every indicator I will ever create in my life.
Oh,
yeah.
So all the time. So
yeah, all the time.
All right.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah, and for the first people, and keep in mind, right now I'm about to start promoting the group and marketing, so that's my focus in the next 2 or 3 months. But for the first 50 or so people who have like a continuous subscription for at least 6 months, so they will always pay whatever this price is. And keep in mind, so I did say I do see this group growing to at least 1,000 people by this time next month. Next year. So I am so sure at some point I will raise the price of this, because if you look at the value you're getting, and this will also, it will weed out the people who are just winging it, and because what I really want you guys to do is put in the time. Like I've literally put in maybe 80 hours or above in total coming up with all this system. So the least you guys can do is also put time to study this. So I do see in future, like especially this indicators access, I do see it being at least $200. But anyway, so for the first 50 or so people who have like at least 6, even though we ever get like 1 million people and I start charging 500 a month, you will always pay the $100 ever. So hopefully that makes sense.
Really yeah. So what is it? So there's 5 indicators in total right now. You've already made, right? You created 5. Is it 5?
Yes, it should be 6, but I'm not counting the semaphore. I'm actually going to take it down. Yeah, but 5 based off of all the strategies that I've developed.
For 5 indicators, and then you said the EA you're testing. So
yeah, the EA.
That is like So that's so that will be separate, of course.
Yeah, but that would be a separate. Yeah, that would be a separate, and I think. Yeah, maybe it will probably take like I just started journaling the results of the EA yesterday, so it will probably take like another 5 months or so. Because like if I show you guys, I think there was this metrics, right? So this is the
Mm.
demo account that I showed you guys that the EA is running. So right now you can see, right, every day, right, it's profitable. However, so right now my drawdown is a bit high. My drawdown is a bit, so it's made 2%, close to 3%, but right now it's made, right now I'm looking at it, it's about 2,800. So let's see, 2,800. However, the drawdown right now is about 2,200. I have my equity protection at 3%. So I did see, so I'm trading, so for this year, I'm trading one major pair, one minor pair, one crypto, one commodity, and one index. Now I did see the majority of the reason I'm having this drawdown is for gold. So yesterday I did, when I was journaling, I did see that trading Bitcoin, US30, and one minor pair. So I was just doing the math yesterday. Out of this 2,800 bucks that I've made, and this is a demo, right? So out of this 2,800 bucks that the EA has made in a week, when I broke down, because I'm trading EU, GJ, Bitcoin, US30, gold, and is that 5? Yeah, I think that's one more. So when I broke down the profit, I found that, and let me read this to you guys. I found that in my journal, during that 1 week period, GJ, so the GJ, US30, and Bitcoin collectively made 1,500 bucks. So they made what? Maybe 60% of this profit. Now, out of those three symbols, Bitcoin by itself made about 537 in profit. GJ made 574, and a US30 made 400 bucks. Now, when I looked at my drawdown yesterday was about 1,800 or so. But when I looked at the drawdown yesterday, these three instruments, Bitcoin, GJ, and US30 on the open positions yesterday, I kid you not, it was like 300 bucks. So I was like, this, because yesterday the drawdown was up to 1,800 bucks. So the 1,500 bucks was tied to gold and EU. So that's why I want to, go, and this is the importance of journaling, and this is why I'm saying it will probably take another 5 or so months. So if I take off gold, gold and EU, right, my drawdown right here, you guys would see this profit, this profit come up. Yeah, but that's just some of the tweaking. But I wouldn't focus too much on the EA right now. That's when it comes, but it will definitely take a couple of months before I make an announcement for the EA. Yeah.
So so the indicators would be how much? So the first 50 people is going to be how much was it? I think I need to check that again.
Yeah. So and let me clarify. Yes, we do have 5 indicators, but remember, 2 indicators are for chart markups, right? The zones, and so I'm not counting that as this. So in the indicators for now, what will be available here is the breakout scanner, the reversal indicator, and the high-low plus trend. I feel like I'm missing one, but yeah. So that's what will be available here. 3 here, and then 2 here.
3 there.
Because you're probably thinking about the one you ain't make yet for the
So the golden cross and death cross, it will be in here. So the one that's being currently made. So remember, the zones, as much as the zones and the high, low, and bearish markup one, as much as those two are indicators, remember, they're just based off of automating a process I did manually, because previously, this is what I used to have, right? I used to have charts access here, and every day, and I can show this right now because I'm going to delete all these charts. I used to send people, right? Livy is in here. I used to send them a link to my charts, right? And then they would open that chart, and then they would have access to everything that I used to have. So you guys remember how I used to have everything manual and all of that. So if I open this, you'll see, right? This is what they had access to, right? Because all this PD low, they were mobile. So all I did was automate this whole thing. So it wouldn't be fair just to myself to include, I mean, if I really wanted to include this, I can, but I would have to raise the price of the indicators because the charts, automation is different. Yeah, but going forward, since I want to keep them separate, charts access will be access to those 2 indicators that mark up your charts automatically. And then for right now, the indicators access is the breakout scanner, the breakout scanner, the reversal indicator, and the high-low plus trend. And then I'm working on a death cross and golden cross indicator for you guys.
So you know the charts and everything will all be included eventually, or so like all 5 is it? What was it? Yeah, charts and yeah. So this charts and what's the other one? You said as a higher.
Oh yeah, indicators access. Yeah.
Yeah. So this indicators and this charts together, you're gonna combine it, right?
Yes.
Eventually.
So yeah, I'll have a package for it. Will ideally be like indicators plus signals. So if I had to combine both of them, you can see it will be like 200 a month, right? But instead of that, I'll just make it like about 150 a month. So same thing as indicators.
That's only that's only for the people that you said. Remember how you come that have subscribed first, isn't it?
No. So you can still combine them, but the first 50, right? So there's already people who paid this month, and because I had an issue with my previous vendor, I had to refund their money. So technically, I'm counting them as much as I had to give them back the money. I'm counting them as, oh, they did pay for this month. So whether you're doing it through promo, everybody who has paid for this month, this is your first month. For you to lock in this price, right, for good, it will have to be, right, what is this? That was I'm terrible at math, man. April, no, this is May. So May, June, July, August, September, May, June, July,
Yeah,
August,
I think they're
September,
gonna start
October,
from
right?
May.
Yeah. Now, if you want to start with June, right, that will be your month one. So for you to lock in whatever price is shown here, your first month to ever subscribe will be month one. So for the people that I refunded the money to, just to be fair to them, their month one was this month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it starts here from the month you subscribe.
Yeah. And to be honest with you guys, if I had to choose, let's say I'm not the one who created this, but I saw the value in this. If I had to choose just one subscription, if I don't have the money to pay for all 3, that's about 200. I do know it's pretty high, but sometimes you just have to weigh the value of something. So indicators access, to me, this at the very least, you need this at the very, it will cut down. You see, like how I automated the charts, I used to spend like 2 hours every day to manually mark up what I showed you guys right here. I used to spend 2 hours a day to do all this manual, but I automated it. Now, it did cost me a ton of money, but I looked at it this way: hey, what is it saving me? So nowadays I have an extra 2 hours of my day that I can focus on marketing the group and whatnot. So at the very least, honestly, this should be the basic package anybody should start with. Charts access, there are people who have their own way of marking up charts. So if you already have that, you don't need it. But if you're still a beginner, this is a big thing, because if you're a beginner and you understand order blocks at the very beginning, I never knew anything about order blocks the first year of trading, or the first probably 2 years of trading. But when I knew about order blocks, trading became so simplified for me. So if you're a beginner, at the very least, you need and again, you don't need to subscribe. That's a disclaimer. You don't need to this is not a subscription group. You don't need to subscribe to make money with me, because I do trade live every day on the live session, and the Zoom access will remain free forever, right? Because that was my commitment when I started. But indicators access, at the very least, you need that. Now, if you want to ideally increase that, indicators and charts access. Signals, again, I've always even been uncomfortable offering signals, because people can easily burn themselves if they don't understand how to use signals. So honestly, yeah, maybe you don't really want to start dealing with signals right now. Remember, the key here is to learn how to use the strategies and then apply them. So that's why I don't like even using signals. So yeah, at the very least, start with indicators. If you can afford to have the indicators and charts access, even better. Forget about signals for now. As much as, of course, I would love people to subscribe for 200 a month. Honestly, to be honest with you guys, just don't focus on having signals for now.
So bro, do you know the 150 a month? Is it just for wait? So the package is indicators and what is it? Indicators and
indicators and signals, or indicators and charts access. I need to include a new input here.
So when we do the package, like when you make it eventually, will be indicators and charts all together?
Yes. So I'll have an option for that, and you guys will have an option to see this page right here. So if you want that, like right now, if I click on this, it will take you to that page. And then there's what indicators plus signals, and then it tells you what you're getting.
So the five indicators and the charts, you will make that package soon, right?
Yeah, the
That-
three
I think that will
indicators
be-
and the
yeah.
charts. Yes, I will. Yeah,
Mm.
I'll edit this before, when is the month? And I'm going on vacation end of this month. Yeah,
Mm.
but by like maybe the weekend I'll make this page available, because ideally I don't. The reason I hate this channel is because I don't want people to subscribe for 99 a month and there's a promo for $50 a month. You know what I mean? Just to be fair to people. So I didn't want to have these two channels open, because I would rather you guys use the cheap option. So whenever I'll ever be having a promo, I'll be turning off the other channel so that somebody does not say, oh, I see you had a promo for everything, indicators, signals, and charts for $50 a month, but I already paid you $200. You know what I mean? So I don't want to deal with that. So anytime that I'll be doing a promo, I'll be hiding the channel that includes the regular subscription
Yes.
prices.
So the regular subscription prices from next month will be, is it 150?
No,
Did you
the
say?
list one is 99. So 150 will be if you want indicators and signals, or if you want indicators and charts.
So $99, that's what's that, just for charts?
Either charts alone or indicators alone.
Okay, and the one is it one, and the other one is 150 for indicators and
Indicators and signals, and indicators and charts. That's not included here, right? I'll edit that in.
I mean, that's the better option, to be honest.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
Yeah.
But if you have the money, yes. And trust me, even with a live personal account, you can easily make the $100 just by using this breakout. Yeah, but the best value, honestly, with you guys, it's not even because again, I don't like the signals thingy. But yeah, the best value will be indicators and charts access. That will be the best value. Yeah.
I think and what's it called? When you said this promo, it's not gonna happen every month, of course.
No, it's not
But
gonna happen every month. I was just running this.
So what is this promo? What do you mean? Like, I know this month we did it because we just started it, but
yeah, so you see this promo, I normally say it's indicators, signals, and charts, right? So what would normally be $199 a month is $50 just for that month. So anytime that I'll ever run a promo, so I think we're at what, 89 members. Maybe when we get to 200, I'll run another promo. Maybe like during Black Friday, also maybe run another promo, or maybe 100 members. So might be the month of June or July. But anytime that I'll ever run a promo, I will hide this normal whatever, and I'll let you guys know that, hey, for the next month, if you want to have access to everything, this is, you just need to pay this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, and I'm not, and I told you guys I'm not looking, I make way more money than subscription money, so I'm not looking to make money from subscription. So we can always work something, not meaning that I'm gonna charge you $50 for something that's 100, but if you miss maybe 1 month and say, hey, I'm going through something, can I come back next month? I'll not count them. Let's say your first month, maybe this was your first month, and maybe the next 2 months you're not able to pay, and then you pay for the next 6 months or 5 months. I'm not going to hold these 2 months you didn't pay against you and say, oh wait, you're not locked in for life. You know what I mean? So to me it's not that serious. I'm a pretty much chill guy. So but just know it's not like I'm gonna charge you $50 when I'm charging other people $90. So I do understand life happens and all of that. So I try, because I've been there, right? I've paid people $300 a month to copy their trades, and sometimes they blew my accounts, but I couldn't really do anything because, right, some of these things we do, it's at your own risk, right? I've paid $200 a month and I wasn't learning anything. So I've been where maybe some of you are. So I'm pretty easy. We can. If you miss 1 or 2 payments, it's not the end of the world. Yeah. All right. Let's see. So again, today you can see US30, where US30 is headed. US30 is away from all these markups up here. So really, I can't see anything. We have 8 minutes before this hourly candle closes. It looks like it's going to close bearish. So let's see how we can continue riding this sell for US30. Because right now, I can assure you a lot of people are trying to catch the bottom and might get stopped out. So what I would be looking for US 30, if I turn on my zones, right? Because we have a candle that closed below a static trend line. We have this candle that retested the static trend line and looks like in 7 minutes, it might close below. So what we would be looking for is a sell area for US 30. So right now, the areas around us, we really don't have any sell zones. We don't have any bearish zones. Price is also in a demand zone. The next sell zone, right? We have a supply zone within a supply zone somewhere here. Or let me just extend this right here. So this is the next area to sell US 30, but you can see that the candle would have to close and come back up this static trend line on the hourly. So for right now, I wouldn't advise you to chase a sell on US 30 as much as closure below this. If this candle closes bearish and below this trend line, it would be a sell, but you need to have something to help you ride price down. And you can see we are in nothing but, and there goes your discount zone, right? So this just means US 30 is discounted right now on the 5-minute time frame. So yeah, I wouldn't advise you guys to sell US 30. At the very least, right, if the sell happens, just wait for it to happen and possibly look for a reversal. Not sure we are gonna get a reversal if there's no, I think there was news today. I think Yellen was speaking at 10. I think she's speaking, so that's, she already spoke.
Said 2:30, I think. Or 2
Yeah,
o'clock.
we have FOMC at 2. So right now, if you want to prep for FOMC, let's see what we can see right here. I would have to look at price action before FOMC, because honestly, all we have here are demand zones right here. But I can see a heavy demand zone within a demand zone here. The only thing is that as I'm marking this up, I would want to see like a bearish zone here. I'm sorry, like a bullish zone here, like a previous daily high, like a previous monthly high. But you can see we have nothing. Literally, we have nothing down there. So if US 30 drops, it's going to break all these demand zones and then possibly get a reversal. So today is a day maybe to wait for a reversal to come in. Yeah, gold. Gold is forming that death cross on the 15th.
You see gold still dropping, right? Because I re-entered on the retest of the death cross and the 9 EMA.
Yes, so gold, and this is on the 15-minute. Yeah, gold is still, I do see gold still dropping. Just be wary of the 2 p.m. because I do see price action dying down right before 2 p.m. So gold, I do see gold still dropping down. Now for gold, what I would be wary of, or what I would be looking for during FOMC, we have the weekly low here, previous daily low, Friday low, monthly low, and previous weekly low. So I would be looking for a bounce continuation for gold around this zone, and we have a demand zone within a demand zone around 1954. But even historically, I remember that gold has tested 1954 twice. So gold can easily, if gold comes back down here, it will break 1954 and keep sinking to the downside. Because just by looking at gold on the hourly, because I remember this, right? It formed this double bottom. If gold comes back down here, it will break this and fall to maybe 1930s area. So right now, I do see that continuation of gold. If they do reverse gold, it will be around 1952, maybe for a triple bottom and then take it back. So this is the area. I would be looking at the 1950 area for the FOMC release today at 2 p.m. and see how price is going to react. Again, right, my strategy for trading news, just follow that strategy. EU, I did say I'm not trying to catch this golden cross on EU. So yeah, to be honest, I'm going to wait for, and you can see we have a daily bearish high and low on EU down here. So for EU, I'm going to wait for FOMC. Actually, for everything, I'll wait for FOMC. But where is EU likely to go? We have a static trend line to the bottom. So somewhere around 1.07340. What's around there? 1.0, right? Look at that. I didn't even look at the chart to my left because I'm looking at where can price retest this static trend line, right? So this zone right here, 300, 340 area. What do we have? We have a daily bullish high here. So EU can keep dropping up to this daily bullish high and reject from it to the upside. So yeah, today's a day of patience and a day of just, if you have access to all these tools, just learn them. They're going to be a game changer for you. And definitely use this markups while entering, you see like CAD JPY. So we have like 2 minutes. So this CAD JPY is a trade that I'll take with a small lot. I really don't like this minor pairs. They move so slowly. Also, we do have news at 2 p.m. So I'm not going to take it on all of my accounts. So let's see, CAD JPY. But based on the analysis that we did see structure to the bottom. And also here, if I use this markup, you can see, right? This is what I want to see. Price rejected from the hourly bearish low. So that is what I want to see. Even turning off, excuse me, turning off the zones, you can see this rejection from the hourly bearish low. Yeah, so I will be taking the sell on CAD JPY in 2 minutes. And also we're about to end the lives. So long as, you know, I need this candle to close, and I need it to close with a sell signal. So that might not happen, but we'll see. Anybody have any questions?
Okay, bro. A few more things. Okay, cool. Yeah, so trading view with this the plan, the plan how we can buy the subscription.
Yeah.
Which plan do you think you should? Because the indicators, all of these indicators, it will be on our chart when we buy it. We give our username to you, right?
Yes.
So when we give our so which plan should we go for? Just the pro, like the basic version, because I mean you don't need to go for the best one.
Yes. So I do know there's limitations because I know some plans you can only have like 5 indicators in one chart or whatnot. So let's see. So I have I have 5 indicators, right? So let's see, 5 indicators per chart. So at the very, so for me, I have, of course, the huge one. Yeah, at the very least, use the pro one. And that's another thing, right? When it comes to some of these things, like just pay the money that allows you, because honestly, like I used to have the free trading view, but I had to keep deleting indicators, and when I need to use the other one. Trust me, if you want to become a profitable trader, that means you're going to make money at some point. So just spend the money right now, and then at the end, money will always, if you're paying for a good thing, money will always come back. So yeah, I would say we have 5 indicators. So yeah, get the pro one. Don't use the free one.
Yeah, of course. What was I saying? Which plan would you say was the best one, or not the best one, but so pro, is a pro or pro plus?
So I had pro plus before I had premium. I had pro plus. I've never had the difference between pro plus. Yeah, I had pro plus before I upgraded to premium. You should be good with, if you're a beginner, you should be good with pro. But for me, when I started, I had pro plus. I forget what I was doing. Yeah, because at some point, because I was testing out a bunch of things, but you should be good with the pro. Now, if you have other indicators, not just mine, maybe you want the pro plus, right? Maybe because right now my indicators as is, right? They will take up the pro version, and if you want to use one after the other, you have to remove one to use the other one. So, but if you say you want to use the EMA indicator, the 9 EMA, the 200 EMA, then maybe you want to have the pro plus one so that you don't have to keep removing indicators to switch up.
So all your indicators, there's 5. So if you just get the pro, that would be a bit of I mean, you might fit, but then you might have to take one out, isn't it? So you might have to just get.
Yes, yeah.
The pro plus is the one you would say.
Yeah. If you can afford it, do pro plus. Yeah.
Okay, what was the other thing?
And I think you see how it says 5 indicators, but you can correct me if I'm wrong. But if you open 2 charts, you see like how I'm on a browser and I have 1 chart for CAD JPY, or normally this would be. So I think if you see like how I've done the breakout scanner for me is on a different chart. So I think you can get away with doing this. So if you have the pro and you open 5 different charts and use the breakout scanner, because for me, breakout scanner is on 1 chart. I don't want to see any other indicator. Reversal indicator is on 1 chart. So I think by using the pro, you can open different charts. I think it's only you know, like if you're on one chart right here, you cannot add any more than 5 just for that one chart. But if you opened another chart right here, you can add another indicator that's not in here. You see what I mean?
I see. Yeah. You mean
Yeah.
like on one chart you would, but the problem is, yeah, I mean on the pro, I mean with any version, subscription version, you can not you can do split screen, isn't it? But
Yes, because this says
mm,
2 charts in one layout. Yeah.
I know that's what I was thinking. The other guy was telling me that you have to duplicate.
Yeah,
To duplicate the chart.
on anyone, maybe not the free one, but yeah, on pro you can do like, you see
Yeah,
like
yeah,
how for me I have 2 charts, like
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
dual. Yeah.
And then what's the other one? One more thing.
Real quick, Mike, on Euro odd, if I had this indicator, I probably wouldn't have took the sales I took yesterday because it was in a demand zone.
Mm-hmm,
Right now it's at the weekly high and it's
mm-hmm.
rejecting. Do you think it's a legit reversal?
So reversal, let's go to euro odd. So you can see CAD JPY, right? That's why we need candles to close, right? That sell was invalidated. So until we get a nice sell. So euro odd reversal, you're looking for reversal on what, the 5-minute?
I did it on a 5-minute, got stopped out, so I'm on the 15 now.
Okay, and you're looking for buys, right?
I'm looking for sales.
For sales, okay.
Yeah.
Sales. So just by looking at it, when did you look? Did you enter the sell here?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I entered there, but if you bring up the indicators, it's a demand zone within the demand zone right around there.
Okay, so just by the reversal itself right here, what was your point of interest? I'm guessing either here or here. So did you use here or did you use down here?
I didn't want to use down there because it was kind of a little invalidated somewhat
Okay.
with that.
153. Okay. Yeah, this, you see, this is a red flag to me, this is a red flag to me, this is a red flag to me. Yeah, so it's not a trend that I would like, right? At the very least, I would just have wanted, you see, these 2 candle closures below here, this by itself is as much as the sell would not be valid here because it would be within the threshold of 50 pips or whatnot. 50, this is 655. Also, it looks like this one might be like GJ that moves, you know.
Yeah, I was gonna ask that. Do I need to wait for more than 50 for this pair?
Yeah, for this one, maybe do 100. Because normally I don't trade reversals for this others. So it's the way I tell, I just look at how price has moved. So I would look at the price scale right here. So bottom here was 62. This is 64. So this is like 2000, quote unquote, 2000, is it 2000 or 200 pips? Like 200 pips. Yeah, you might need to backtest this. So the way I do it, I just GJ is the one I know that for a fact. It's instead of 50 here, you do 100. But even regardless of whether it's 50 or 100, if you're using 50, this right here, these 2 candle closures right here, and then this 2, as much as the next candle is coming to close above, I really don't want to see many candles closing below. So you have this candle that closed below and then you have another one. So if it was just this one candle that closed below, that would have been fine. But you had this one that also closed below, as much as the next candles closed above. Like, you know, I've shown trends before, like with EU and gold, and you can see the difference, right? Because you, in theory, you just want price to, at the very, for a perfect trend, you want price to stabilize and be held by the 9 EMA. So for me, this right here just does not look good. Even looking at the price action of, you also want to see the price action of what you're trading. You can see Euro AUD is more of a consolidating instrument, right? Because a lot of price action is, you know, is just pegged on the 9 EMA. So even just, so for these reversals, you want to find a liquid pair. So one other thing I've been doing, I've been going on here and looking up most liquid FX pairs, right? So if you look at that, the most liquid FX pairs, so you'll see we have what? EU, of course, is the highest. Where is that chart? You have EU, USD, JPY, GU. So these are the pairs you want to look for reversals on, because what this means, these are the most traded instruments, and price is either likely to go straight to TP or straight into stop. That's what you want. You want to get in a trade, and it, if your confluences are right, it should go straight into TP within the day. So, or you can look up so this is most liquid FX pairs or most volatile FX pairs. So you want a pair that has some quick price action. So you have what? This one's right. Odd JPY is actually a nice pair to trade, especially if you're catching a reversal or catching a trend. Yeah. So check out these pairs and just back test them and just put them on a watch list for like reversals and all, because they're more than likely going to go straight into TP. So that will help you avoid pairs like NZD, CHF, and pairs that just move weird.
All right, cool.
Yeah. All right. Any last questions? So I'm still looking for this cell here. It looks like I have to wait for another 6 minutes, but this is a cell I'm looking for. Any last questions from anyone?
Bro, so with this one last thing, with the indicators when we get them, can we like would you be able to, like, of course you already explained how you did it or how you do it, but can we like tell you like every now and then what settings, and of course you showed it.
Yeah. Like right now I'm doing one-on-ones with people who, like yesterday I had a one-on-one with somebody. So if you guys want, we can do one-on-ones if you need to understand that. But I know I've been saying that I'm going to create videos, so I'll create videos because it's gonna save me time, right? Because if I had a video for each indicator, I'll just send you a link instead of me doing one-on-ones with 10 different people, and I could have just created one video. But if by then, if you're looking to get it next month, by then hopefully I should have recorded the videos. If not, we'll just do a one-on-one with you and I'll go over everything.
Yeah, so let's just say you do record a video eventually. You just make one video and you just give it to all of us.
So I'll make a video for each indicator, right? So I'll make a video for the breakout scanner, for the reversal strategy, for the zones, the markups, the everything, right? And then I'll just give you a link.
Or if you just do the live, how you said it. I mean, it's up to you.
Yeah, but either way, you guys will have resources, whether it's directly through me or videos I've recorded on how to use each indicator and when to use it. Yeah,
that's right.
Yep. Any other question?
No.
Thank you. Perfect. All right, perfect. Other than that, I will see you guys tomorrow. So today, of course, we didn't have any trades. The trade setups came before the market opened. So that's another importance of having all these instruments, because you could have easily caught the gold sell and rode price down all this way. But, it's a learning, we'll always have these entries. Now, not as perfect as the gold entry, but right, you'll have some of these entries and you have all these tools. So just learn how these instruments work and you'll be good. That's all you need. But other than that, I will see you guys tomorrow. Be careful trading FOMC later on today. All right, bye.